How you doing, YouTube? This is Stash coming at you with another random vlog. I hope you're enjoying the ones that I do and my old slideshow style films with the techno music and stuff. I hope you guys out there like them. Thanks for subscribing to this channel. I think it's up. I think it's going more up. I'm at over 1,000 people. Hope you're enjoying my stuff. I know it's a sloppy channel, but I'm enjoying it sometimes. So tonight I want to talk about hypnosis, us people as hypnotics, and I want to talk a little bit about meditation and what hypnosis to me and meditation is, and the influences of hypnosis and techniques that are used on us via Madison Avenue and the internet. The internet is now the new TV, I guess. There's a lot of ads on there. The Netflix binge watching, that's interesting to me. So there's an old school book called The Clam Plate Orgy that talks about advertising, print advertising and TV advertising. Of course, TV is even deeper. That's why the smoking ads aren't allowed anymore. And liquor ads are still on quite a bit, but smoking is removed from TV because it's powerful. The Clam Plate Orgy was an old school book that talked about the horror or the the truth behind advertising. In that case, they were talking more about print media, but I think they go into the Exorcist movie and so forth. The ice cubes literally had drawn in with them images of death and sexuality. A clam plate orgy, an orgy within the clam plate was another ad. Ice cubes with people having sex and orgies in them, and a lot of death imagery. So there's the two things that are very effective to the subconscious, which would be images of sex and death, nasty stuff. One of the most blatant ones, of course, was Camel Joe with the genitalia head, and the famous one that he picks up. Look at his leg, it's very phallic. It's very, actually, I think there's some female genitalia on him. Sorry, shut this off for the kids. But I'm interested in that kind of stuff. I don't know if people are. I think there was even laws against it in the pre-movie ads that they weren't allowed to zap you in and with subliminal messages to get you to buy popcorn and stuff. But have they really stopped that stuff? I don't think so. I think it's probably gotten more sophisticated. What is hypnosis? I think people more are familiar with the stage hypnosis, comedian, hypnotist, which seems a little more involuntary or whatever. They're professionals. They can put you under pretty deep. But if you tried self-hypnosis or looked into it, it's not quite as Hollywoody or staged as those guys do, like R-rated hypnotist people. It's not sleep. It's a different form of wakefulness, and you could even make an argument that you're even more consciousness under hypnosis in some aspects. It allows you to slow down. That's why some people go to hypnotherapy and stuff. And it's aids you in visualization. Could even bring back memories. I've been told actually there's some kind of new sophisticated stuff. The name of the author escapes me. I'll try to look it up and put it in the liner notes. The scientists are talking about really fooling around with removing your memories via advanced hypnotic techniques. That sounds kind of scary to me. Some people might like that, if they have post-traumatic stress disorder, things of that nature. But I don't know. I think we all should try to be close to nature as possible, and it's not easy these days, no doubt. So I'll try to leave notes about that. There's definitely a lot of even more sinister stuff than that. The Manchurian Candidate by Marx. The movie Raymond, we're busting it up. Remember that? The Manchurian Candidate. The cards meant something. The keywords would trigger, the assassin into being activated, and there's another one that's even much more harder to get than that, called Operation Mind Control. I'm gonna do a blog solely on that book. A man named Walter Boert went into it, and I think the government, allegedly the CIA or somebody bought up all the copies of his book. So you go online, and the book is really expensive. It's hard to get, and it's one of those that I don't think it's really at your local library or whatever. I don't know. Ask for it. But that talks about, for instance, Sirhan, that he was highly hypnotic, allegedly, and a high-level hypnotist went to see him. He said, I can't get put under, and apparently this guy put him under, and he was climbing the walls of his cell in California there. And he didn't remember a thing. Sirhan didn't. The alleged, the convicted, but so I guess maybe you don't have to use the word alleged anymore, but alleged, I'll use the word alleged. Sirhan, allegedly a highly hypnotic guy, mumbling about a girl with a polka dot dress. You see some interviews of him, he looks like he doesn't remember a damn thing. It's pretty interesting. But he talks about the neuro-linguistic programming, and we know that politicians and salespeople know how to speak to us, and they know what to do. And television and movies, people speak distinctly for it to work. But one basic aspect, as to my understanding, is that repetition does have an effect, of course. Sometimes a positive effect. When you're at a company, you do repetition, you get positive about the company, and you form, you do your function very well. But, maybe, of course, you could have to consider it's got to be overboard, right? And messages in advertising and now the new platforms, the streaming, are heavy, and people say, I have my celebrity crush. I got a celebrity crush. How do you get that? Well, the beauty of art that we all love, movies and TV, but there's a flip side to it. Like that movie Videodrome from way back, the old school one. I think the guy on there says, I only watch television when I'm on television. I personally think people I've met who don't look at it and read, I'll tell you straight up, I think they're calmer people. I do. I really do. I think, in hindsight, I wish I didn't look at so much when I was younger. But hey, I did, and what it did to me and what it does to us, I don't know. It's TV programming. Some people even say writing is spelling. Spelling. I don't know. Maybe what's the root of that word? Look at the etymology of that word. So your frontal area, to the best of my knowledge, gets hit with these messages, and you are susceptible to a change. There's no doubt about it. And a movie is to me is as heavy or heavier than any hypnosis that you can do. That even if you've tried, you know that a self-visualization is very hard to make at the level of a motion picture, and now they're faster frames per second. So what are they doing to you? They're smashing the frontal cortex, and you get a celebrity crush, and you buy stuff you don't need, and to make you happy, and you're never happy. And I've been guilty of this. We are. That's America. Maybe we have to do that prefer to run. I don't know. We'd be better off maybe just growing food, meditating, doing qigong, tai chi, but we don't. We binge watch. Get tired after work, you binge watch, and you're really part of the show. Meditation is a different consciousness. Like hypnosis, I guess I was trying to dispel a myth about hypnosis. It's not exactly, you're not under full asleep. In fact, you're more tuned in some senses, and unless you agree to go under by a professional or a professional stage hypnosis, and your friends think you're an idiot, you're doing dirty stuff and stuff on stage. When you're doing self-hypnosis or hypnosis with the help of somebody who knows what they're doing, you're actually focusing more. That's why I think when you go to a hypnotherapist, they say make sure you kind of have things in order before you partake in this healing modality, because it's going to help you focus, but it could kind of have other effects. Not saying they're negative, but that they could be. You want to have your house in order before you engage in it. Self-hypnosis, I think it's all right. I think if you're going through too much stress or depression or some kind of thing, I don't think you can just jump right into self-hypnosis. I recommend hitting up the weights or running or sports or something before you just try to sit there and do hypnosis. And that finally moves me to my next rant, which is meditation. Just like with hypnosis, I think there's a lot of misconceptions about meditation. Personally, I think from old school writing, when we in the West have been trying to understand meditation, there's those phrases that we get caught up in, and I think this still holds true. You empty your mind, and you achieve nothingness. Empty your mind, slow your thoughts, have no thoughts. Emptiness, nothingness, clear mind. That's just not possible to stop every thought. In the case of meditation, you're able to greatly slow it down. And my training that I received, you count. It can be good to count. And again, if you're experiencing too much sadness or anger or emotion, you've got to get rid of it. Hit the punching bag, take a walk. Straight off the bat, meditation's not going to be practical. And if you're not the type that can sit there at all, I still think you should pursue things that relax you. If you try it and you just don't like it, or if you, I'm gonna do it. I think I'm gonna blog about qigong and meditation. See what I can do. I'm interested to see if I can teach it in some way. I'm gonna call it another blog channel. Unless nobody gives me a freaking thumbs up on this rant. Actually, this rant could put you into a deep state of sleep. So enjoy. Oh, okay. So my point about that, meditation doesn't work for you. You can try, if you haven't seen it already, this ASMR. I'm not going to define it or whether. It's just that's easy. Each of the people's YouTube channels, just type in ASMR. I recommend the gentle whispering lady from Russia, and Heather Feather is a good one. ASMR chick. There's a guy with some Tibetan bowls. I forget his name. He's good too. Probably one of the kingpins of it is kingpins. The princesses, the best is the gentle whispering woman. I forget her name, from Russia, who's delightful. Really, just a natural at it. And the Heather Feather woman, young woman. You know, they're top notch at this ASMR. Basically, you put headphones on, and it gives you tingles, travels across the head, and if you're not a good sleeper, this thing might be a miracle. So give that a try. But there's ultimately, you really want to not even put the headphones on, and not even depend on that stuff. I got nothing against those people. Those people, those men and women doing that ASMR, they're great. I don't know if they agree with me on this. I think that you want to maybe get away from your electronic source, the power of that, and become comfortable with yourself as a meditator. It's more organic. It's more real. You know, definitely. And again, we've got to be aware. I want to watch TV, and I like to go to movies. And I think, I don't know if you guys agree with me, but I say that, you know, we're cognizant of being influenced when we're looking at these, or we should, and you know, there's probably it should be be careful about how much we look at that stuff. I mean, on the flip side, if you're not feeling up, you get a lot of stress. A movie can be sometimes the most wonderful thing to get out of this reality, and in that aspect, it's not bad. I don't know about this binge watching, and some of the shows are pretty damn excellent, but they're pretty dark, you know. So, what can I say? If you're not the kind of person that could deal with that kind of thing, you might want to stay away, because you were influenced by these characters. You get into it, and like I said, celebrity crush. These kind of things are really strange. So, there's an old school writer, and I know what some people are going to say, that they moved beyond his stuff, but there was this guy, Vance Packard, that talked about this kind of thing long ago. And I still think his explanation holds true, that there's a guard that we have that guards us from thoughts that enter into our subconscious. The conscious guards the subconscious. I'm sorry if I've got some of the terminology wrong, but I think I've got the basic idea. There's a guard. Here's the inner self, the subconscious. You want to have something protecting anything that goes in there, because these are influences that are we're not completely aware. Okay. We're not completely aware, and you may have experienced. We've all experienced that. You know, you saw a commercial tons of times, and you buy a bunch of junk, and you buy. The funny thing is, sometimes you actually buy some other junk. I don't know if you experienced that. That's kind of funny. And they say that music in stores is kind of built to be against shoplifting and stuff, but it's so that you buy too, and the whole feeling of the store is set up that way. Although stores are going away, and now the feeling of buying something online is a new thing. Like, oh, that's a again, there's a paradox, because we've got to buy a bunch of junk to keep the world moving, but on the other hand, it's killing us. It's weird. It's too much stuff. Again, the theme would be the natural versus the unnatural. So the conscious guard. There can be, if you want to maybe consider improving yourself, or you're having trouble with self improvement. I know I do. We all do, I guess. Then working on certain techniques to go through there in a way that you want. You don't you're looking to lose weight or gain muscle or be better get better at sleep, not fear flying, whatever, then a hypnosis kind of modality is good, and you're in a sense, your conscious wants to do it, and you want to help it along, and then you add to it by willingly going through that guard into the subconscious, and that's why when people are putting you under hypnosis, there's words and things that speak to the unconscious, and ads certainly do that, and pictures do that in ads. And I've noticed more and more on social media platforms that people like a picture, and maybe not even with a caption under the meme. The meme is a new word. The catch-all. That the going viral has gone to the actual word. I think that's a Greek word, meme. Actual just pictures are popular now. That's just here, boom. Good-looking person. That's it. Like it. So, I don't know how hypnotic it is, and I don't know what effect that's having on us as a species, looking at these pictures all the time, that people have brought up that it's given, trouble. And something a little more deeper, the occult things, I don't know if I recommend looking into it, but I can describe that, that's why that's that movie, Twilight, or the Twilight Zone, or Netherland, or non-being, or that in-betweenness world that occultists talk about, or in the movie Dune, the sleeper has awakened. I would say that these filmmakers, you'll find they know certain things that have to do with this magic and occult stuff, and it's included in their movies and their techniques and their knowledge of things like Kabbalah and color. I had actually asked somebody who's very knowledgeable and knows people that are involved in that, and I never really understood David Bowie, but I know that he's very beloved and whatnot, and I realized his music and his stage setups and stuff were really looking like he knew a lot about something like Kabbalah or something, or magic, or he was just beyond art house into his own thing. He took from the art house world to the super popular world. And I guess I had asked somebody if he was in the OTO, and I guess he wasn't, but he certainly seems to be adept. I don't know if I am, or I just read that stuff sometimes. I bridge the gap. I'm interested, but sometimes whatever. As artists and people, you can make the argument that art is the same as that type of thing, or I don't know. But we should all be wary of the positive and negative aspects of art. As Arthur C. Clarke says, any magic is indistinguishable from science. If you haven't figured it out yet, whatever. Boy, did I butchered that quote. Basically saying if you don't know what the heck it is, it's magic until science figures it out, or whatever. Or science is indistinguishable from magic, whatever. But that saying holds true, I think. So yeah, hypnosis and meditation are not the same stereotypes that is said. Hypnosis isn't a complete state to sleep, although we say go sleep deeper, and it's close to it. It's not quite. Sleepwalking, I think, is a hypnotic state, but it's heavier. It's a lot heavier, and you can feel if you're doing self hypnosis, somebody puts on they're similar to sleep. A lot of similar things to sleep. because you're going into the, I believe, the alpha state. The REM, you'll feel your a twitch in your eye. And the occultist, I think they're talking about that because of they're involved in. I mean, people define this magic stuff and occult things in many different ways, but the twilight, or the in betweenness, or the nothingness, or the world in between is where the occultist works at, on one of the aspects. And then some of them talk about willpower a lot. Willpower, willing things. And hermetically changing. That's a metaphor, I believe, for golds. And some of it is kind of negative, like bending the reality. There's a writer that has a book called Secret Societies and Psychological Warfare, Mr. Hoffman guy, and he talks about twilight language. That's the language of the cryptocracy. That's his word, like for what people are constantly referring to on the internet as the Illuminati or whatnot. And obviously, I got a lot of weird YouTubes where I go into that. Or is mine saying a message? I don't know. It's you can see them. They're kind of primitive, but they're cool. I guess I like the idea of the way you can get lost in them. They're not that advanced though. But I have some of his and James Shelby Downard's work in my vids, in the few that are any good. But that period between the night and the dusk and that light part, when you can't sleep, those of us, or once in a while when you're up at that early hour or whenever the twilight time hits, it's very spooky, because it's not quite night, it's not quite day. There's that hazy white thing, and it's like you're in betweenness. It's in other states of consciousness. And if you've practiced Tai Chi or Qigong, which I think I'm going to try to do on here, and I'll mention the name of my teacher in the line notes when I do that. Or I had a couple of teachers at this point. Yoga and prana and chi and ki in Japanese. That's another thing too. You got sight, you got sound, you got taste, you got smell, and you got chi. Chi, it's another one. It's funny nowadays. People who are Asian live in the United States, super educated or whatever. They don't believe in chi, and I do. That's what's kind of funny. Definitely not all. Some of them, of course, spectacular, into it and remain into it. But that's the effect of globalization on culture. But that's another story. As Charles Fort, the Fortrain man, the guy who talks about frogs flying and UFOs and anomalies, says we're all human beings are hypnotics, and I believe it. And Robert Anton Wilson has another book about how we all misunderstand each other. Robert Anton Wilson talks about that too. How really we all kind of walk around in a dream state, and we continuously misinterpret what other people are saying, and it makes a lot of problems. It's because concentration, consciousness is not. It's valued in our society only in terms of how much dough you make. Let's face it. Now, how good looking you are, how much dough you make, how much money. So, and everybody's tired and binge watching. We all doing it, and now with the internet, it's getting worse. And with the tech stability, people can barely drive, and we're getting more hypnotic. It's almost, I'm just inventing a new word right here, right now. Electronic hypnotic or something, or whatever. That's why I said as beautiful as the ASMR thing that I tried to clue anybody who doesn't know. I thought everybody would know about it, but I clue you in on that ASMR look this up. I'll leave one of them in the links for this, but is awesome. But it might be just better to try to sit, and if you've noticed, I have a category on here where I have links to an Indian technique of staring at one spot and achieving good meditation. If you're sensitive to your cultural things and religion and stuff, you might not like that. Maybe it's a Hindu practice, maybe it's this and that. That's another subject. I'm rambling. Anyway, so to recap, hypnosis isn't 100% just sleep. Okay, you are getting sleepy. It's not necessarily. In fact, it's the opposite. It can make you sharper. Although it has levels that you can go so deep, it's the same as sleep, and you can whatnot, and depending how deep you can go under, some people go really deep. Sleepwalking is different. Consciousness itself is another state. I went over briefly Qi, the feeling of Qi, practicing Qigong and Tai Chi, is another awareness state that you might want to achieve. The ASMR with the technology, I think that's another form of consciousness, really interesting enough. The way the machine, the microphone, the artist, the ASMR artist is working with you, and it's another state. So there's many states, and there's many different types of Qi energy actually, and really. And you'll notice, in the NPR world, really intelligent people in this country, they will only engage in something unless it's filtered through the proper people from excellent universities, fully certified, stuff like that. And they might teach Qigong and or encourage you to go to Reiki or something, but they've invented like mindfulness or whatever. It's almost like they got to spoon feed you, mindfulness. I'd prefer to just try to find a yoga instructor, try to find a Qigong teacher. But, a lot of people are like, no, it's mindfulness, and it's taught by this person from a university, and, that's what it's like. They've been on NPR. So to each their own. I like the old school ways myself. And the final part is I'm talking about some kind of really wild stuff with this occultism, which is, got some negative aspects, but and for your information to exist. That's why that's what they're talking about. And some Wizard of Oz and Alice in Wonderland. They're kind of creepy. They're little stories. They're playing around with the in-between world, the Netherland. Walter Bowett's Operation Mind Control, definitely sinister. It's the weaponization of hypnosis. That's what I was going to say. I guess will be my final point tonight. It's not everything is benevolent about hypnosis. Be careful who you work with on that. Be careful who you let put you under. Hey, if you're listening right now and you're from some elite military thing, maybe don't volunteer for the hypno freaking program. You follow me? It's existed. Mind control exists. It happened during the Korean War. It freaks people out. There's a case about how the communists put this cardinal under, and he went from being hardcore to Catholic guy or something, and he turned into a complete communist. Being under mind control hypnosis is a huge thing, quite frankly, in America. It's huge. I mean, people get into it. It's almost like necessary. You got to get psyched, get on that team, get in that business, get 100% into it. And there's a lot of great aspects for that, immersion and learning. But, who wants to be totally taken over either, You want to be, and are you? Maybe you're not. Maybe you're just making cash, whatever. Ramble. But again, Hypnosis Can Be Weaponized. I refer to, if you can get a hold of that book, Operation Mind Control. I mean, he documents of people, soldiers who are highly hypnotic, become like they're at meetings or whatever, and they can record events like a tape recorder. And some are warriors, We know that nothing exists in a vacuum, and those really cool movies, The Bourne Identity and stuff. Do they make super soldiers like that? We can speculate. I would say sometimes they practically admit that they do. I think recently there's a story that they're coming out that they want to bioengineer a super warrior, and the singularity that Kurzweil of MIT talks about is on the way. That without to just keep up with machines, we're gonna have to merge with them. There'll become a day we'll miss simple, regular hypnosis and self-hypnosis, maybe. But yeah, I mean, it exists, and people who've been wound up in cults and things like that. Well, they know there's a special language that they use, and talk about hypnosis. They have to be deprogrammed. Don't forget, when you're watching TV, you're getting programmed. I'm gonna leave long line of notes, The Clam Plate Orgy, Operation Mind School. Those are old. Operation Mind Control. Those are old school books, but they're excellent if you can get a hold of them. So tomorrow night, my goal is to hopefully get back on. If anybody watches these things, I'm going to do some hypnosis sessions. I think I got the weird accent, but I kind of talk. I think I can do it. I don't know. Do you think I can do it? I hope this damn channel catches on. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm enjoying it, though. Alright, so that's my lecture on meditation, hypnosis, and in-betweenness. I'm going to be talking about that more, too. Got to finish up part 2 of the atomic weapons thing, David Lynch, and Parsons, and all that stuff. Anyway, have a great night, and I hope you're enjoying the Stosh vlogging. Take care, guys.